In the last few classes, we have been discussing about regular grammars. We saw that a right linear grammar can be automatically transformed into a deterministic finite state automaton, and hence we proved that a right linear grammar represents a regular language because we can get a DFA accepting the same language. Today we are going to see a procedure which can translate or transform an NFA with a epsilon transition to a right linear grammar, and hence we can conclude that an arbitrary regular language can be represented by a right linear grammar and hence a regular grammar. We can say this because we are going to discuss a procedure which can take an arbitrary NFA as input and can produce an equivalent right linear grammar as output. So we can see that regular grammars are as expressible as deterministic finite state automata or NFA or epsilon NFAs. Before we see how to get a right linear grammar from an NFA, we need to discuss a procedure which can take an arbitrary NFA as input and can produce a unique start state epsilon NFA as output. This is the lemma that we are going to utilize in the procedure for converting an NFA into a right linear grammar. This claims that an NFA A with multiple start states, capital S can be one or more start states, can be converted into an equivalent epsilon NFA A prime with a unique start state small s. We can try to understand this with a simple example. This is an NFA which has two start states P and R. We need to see how can we get an equivalent NFA which is having only a single start state. For this particular example, we can have this kind of an NFA which is having only a single start state. What I did to obtain this single start state NFA from this is, I have added a new state as the single start state of the required NFA, and then I added epsilon transitions to all the start states in the given NFA. So P and R are start states. I am adding epsilon transitions. Once you do this, it is easy to observe that if you are in the single start state, then without consuming the first input symbol, you can reach to P or R. So it is like having started in P or R in this machine. So it's a very simple process to obtain a unique start state epsilon NFA from an arbitrary NFA. So here is how you can define this NFA A prime. The state set is now the set of all states in the given NFA plus one more state, that is the single start state that you are adding. And in the transitions, you are taking all the transitions in the existing NFA and adding these two transitions in this case. In general, you are adding a transition from the unique start state S to a state P for the input simple epsilon if P is a start state in the original NFA. So in this case there are two start states P and R, so you are adding transitions to P and R for epsilon. And if you want, you can prove that this is a correct construction, and the take home is, given an NFA with a multiple start states, one can automatically obtain a unique start state epsilon NFA. Now onwards, whenever I say NFA, I mean an NFA with a single start state. We can now see a procedure for converting an NFA into a right linear grammar, and thus we can have this claim: an arbitrary regular language can be represented by a regular grammar. If you have a procedure which takes an NFA and gives you a regular grammar, this claim is true. So if we get that procedure, the proof is done. It is given an epsilon NFA with a unique start state. One can construct an equivalent right linear grammar GA such that the language of the constructed grammar is same as the language of the given NFA. So to complete this proof, we need to look at that procedure. We can try to understand how can one go from a unique start state NFA to a right linear grammar by this illustrative example. This is an NFA with a single start state, and not difficult to verify that the language is set of all strings over AB starting with A and ending with B. And if you look at an input like this and a processing by this NFA on this input, it needs to start with the only initial state, and if it processes the first input simple, it moves along this edge and will come to B. So this is what I am telling. And we need to have a corresponding step in the grammar to derive the first simple of the string AAB. So that can be done if A is the start simple, and if I can replace capital A with a small a capital B, it is like in the process of deriving small a small b, I have already derived the first simple small a, and B is the next variable which I can replace to derive the next two simples. Or if you recall what we did in the last class to construct an NFA from a right linear grammar, the sentential form small a followed by capital B will be represented in the NFA by a state B such that after reading the first input simple, you are in the state B. I hope you remember that context. Anyway, if you want to replace capital A with a small a capital B, this is the rule in the grammar which you can use to do this. If this is a rule, capital A can be replaced with small a capital B. So basically what we did is, if there is a transition for small a from the state capital A to the state capital B, you just add a rule in the grammar from capital A as a variable, you can replace that with small a capital B. That is the generalized way that you can have. Anyway, we can try to proceed. You are here now, the next input symbol is small a, so you can take this transition and come back to B again. And the corresponding step now will be this capital B will be replaced by small a capital B. This is the rule. So this is the edge from B to B on small a, P to B on small a. So if you have this rule, no doubt this capital B can be replaced with small a capital B. That is what I did. And now if I proceed from here and suppose I take this edge going to C for the last small b, this is what I do in this case. So this will be naturally represented here by after small a small b, I will be in the state capital C. So this is how you will represent it in the derivation. And in the process of derivation, that means you have replaced capital B with a small b capital C. This is the rule. And mechanically, if you have a transition from the state capital B to the state capital C on this input symbol small b, this is the rule that you need. So that's it. With this, we have to see you have accepted this string because you ended up in the final state, and hence in the derivation you need to just take out the capital C. For that you need this rule, and that you can add when C is a final state. Whenever a state is final, you add an epsilon transition from that variable. That is the rule that you can observe. So you can derive this string which is accepted by the machine. This is just for you to observe that how can we devise an algorithm which will take an NFA as input and will produce a right linear grammar as output. Now we can try to formally write that algorithm using this example where I just added an epsilon transition for getting all the steps in the algorithm. We need an algorithm for generating a grammar GA from this NFA A. And in the grammar, first we need to define this structure. It's a set of variables, set of terminal simples, set of the start simple and the set of productions. And we know that from the previous example, the states in the machine are going to be the variables in the grammar. Okay, the variable set is going to be the set of states. That is the first statement in the algorithm. In the definition of the grammar, the variable set is nothing but the state set. And after that, if you remember, we said the state representing the start state, the corresponding variable is going to be the start simple. The start simple of this grammar, the required grammar, is going to be the variable which is the start state of the given NFA. That is the second rule. Given NFA, there is assumed to be a single start state small s, which is going to be the start simple capital S of the grammar. Now look at the first transition from capital A to capital B on the simple small a. We saw that we need this kind of a rule. Capital A can be replaced with small a capital B, or A going to small a capital B. This is what we observed, and now we can generalize and say it as the third step in the algorithm. For all transition from the state capital A to the state capital B for the input symbol small a, you add this rule to the set of productions. And if you apply step number 3 for all other rules, here there are 3, you will get these rules in the grammar. B to B on A, B to B on B, B to C on B. And now the next step in the algorithm is to process epsilon transitions if any. Here you can reach into the state capital C from the state capital A without reading an input symbol. So naturally this is the kind of rule that you need. From A to C without reading an input symbol. And you can generalize and state this as the step number 4 in the algorithm. For all epsilon transition from the state capital A to the state capital B, you add this rule to the grammar. And there is no other epsilon transition. So in this example case, we are done. Now the last thing to do in the algorithm is how to treat the final states, how to represent a final state here. We saw that we can represent it by using an epsilon transition. And that is the last step in the algorithm. For all final states in the given N of A, add epsilon transition to the rule. So we have seen how we can get a right linear grammar from a unique start state N of A. And before that we saw that an arbitrary N of A can be transformed into an equivalent unique start state epsilon N of A. So by combining these two, we are getting a procedure which can take an arbitrary N of A as input and can produce a right linear grammar representing the same language as output, and hence we can conclude that an arbitrary regular language can be represented by a regular grammar. Regular grammar is expressive enough for representing all regular languages. Now we will be looking at a procedure for translating or transforming a left linear grammar into a DFA. Because in the last class we have seen an algorithm which transforms a right linear grammar into a DFA. Now you may ask, what if I am having only a left linear grammar? Now we are going to look at a procedure which can take a left linear grammar as input and will produce a DFA as output. For that we need to have some tools with us. First is the reverse of a string. If you look at a string x, x power r is representing the reverse of x. Okay, x reverse is what it called. If the string is epsilon, the reverse of epsilon is epsilon itself. Similarly, if the string is just a simple, the reverse is that simple itself. And if you want to look at a string of two simples, the reverse is just the reverse of it. AB is the string, BA is the reverse. And you can define the reverse of a string x denoted as x reverse recursively or inductively as follows. When x is epsilon, x reverse is epsilon itself. When x is a single simple small a, x reverse is small a itself, the same simple. And now we have the inductive step for defining it. When x is a string w followed by a simple a, the reverse is defined as, that is w a reverse. This is the string w concatenated with a is nothing but a followed by reverse of w. So you take a first and after that reverse of w. To understand what it is, let us look at a simple example. What is the reverse of ABC? By using this step, it can be written as AB concatenated with C, the whole reverse. And if you apply the last step or the inductive step, you can see that it is nothing but C followed by reverse of AB. This is what it is saying. And now if you look here, it is nothing but A concatenated with B. So you write it as A concatenated with B, just rewriting it. Now apply the last rule. So this will become B followed by A reverse. And A reverse is directly defined as A, substituted. And now B dot A is nothing but BA, and C dot BA is nothing but CBA, or simply the reverse of ABC is CBA. And this is how you will formally define it in terms of smaller terms. Now you can see that when you apply the operation reverse twice on a string, what is going to happen? For example, you consider the string Asian. If you apply reverse twice, what will happen? If you apply reverse once on Asian, you will get NISA, which is the reverse of Asian, and again you have to do this reverse here. Then you will get back the original string, and you can generalize this and say that for all terminal strings W, if you apply reverse twice on W, you will get W as the result. And you can apply this to a language as well. Suppose you have a language of 3 strings, and what will happen if you apply reverse twice on a language? And if you apply reverse on these strings individually, you will get the reverses of these strings. You can verify it offline. Then you take the reverse again, you will get back the same language. That again you can generalize and say, for all languages, if you apply reverse twice on that language, you will get back the same language as output. Now we can see, given a left linear grammar, what will happen if you reverse the RHS of each production? Okay, before we reverse, let us look at strings derived by this left linear grammar. Not difficult to see that it is this language. Set of all repetitions of AB, 1 or more times. AB, this is 2 ABs, 3 ABs, likewise it goes. And what will happen if I reverse the RHS of each production here? You can see that I just reverse the RHS in each case. That's what I did. And if you look at strings derived by this grammar, you can see that it's actually the reverse of this language, and that you can generalize. You can say that given a left linear grammar G, one can construct a right linear grammar G prime where same set of variables, same terminal simples, same start simple, but productions are different. Okay, what are productions? So this is the set. It says that suppose this is a left linear production, you can see that it is a string, before that a variable. Variable is the leftmost symbol, then a string. Then you are saying that okay, to the right linear grammar you just reverse the RHS. If you reverse the RHS, it will be W reverse followed by B. That is what I say. For example, if you have this kind of a production in the given left linear grammar, you will have this as the production in the right linear grammar. You reverse this is DCBA followed by B. And when you don't have a variable in the RHS, it is just a terminal string, then you just reverse it. That is the required production in the right linear grammar that you are constructing. I hope with these examples you are getting it. And you can now claim that the right linear grammar that you are generating like this represents the reverse of the language represented by the given grammar. So the take home is that given a left linear grammar, you can reverse the RHS of each production in it to get a right linear grammar. And the interesting thing here is that the obtained right linear grammar represents the reverse of the language represented by the left linear grammar. Now, before we look at a process or a procedure to generate a DFA from a left linear grammar, we need to have one more result, which is this: reverse of a regular language is also regular. So I mean, an arbitrary regular language, if you look at, the reverse of that language must also be regular. We can prove it. Maybe first you look at this example. This is an n of a and hence the language is regular. Not difficult to see that this is the language. Set of all strings of AB starting with A and ending with B. Now suppose I construct an NFA which is called the reverse NFA AR, reverse NFA AR, where what I did is, here I assume that the NFA is having only a single start state and a single final state. And the first assumption is very clear now, because given an arbitrary NFA, we can automatically obtain a unique start state epsilon NFA. Similarly, if there are multiple final states, by adding epsilon transitions to a single final state, you can get a epsilon NFA with a single start state and a single final state. It is not difficult to see. The procedure is very similar to what we discussed in the beginning of this lecture. So here I am assuming, without loss of generality, that the given NFA is having only a single start state and a single final state. Given that, what I did here to obtain is, the single final state is made as the start state and the single start state here is made as the final state, and then I just have reversed all the edges. See, I reversed all the edges here. And now if you look at this NFA, you can easily observe that the language is set of all strings starting with B and ending with ending with A. So it is the reverse of the language, and this is a generalizable process. You can say that given an epsilon NFA A with a single start state and a single final state, it is very important. One can construct an epsilon NFA A reverse, where the start state of the A reverse is going to be the unique final state of the given NFA, and the unique final state of the reverse NFA is going to be the unique start state of the given NFA, and all the edges are reversed. It means if there is an edge going from P to Q on A, you add an edge going from Q to P on A, just reversing. So this is a very straightforward process, procedure to do, and if we want, we can use principle of mathematical induction on the length of a string to prove that the construction is correct. And now we have got enough tools with us for looking at a procedure for converting a left linear grammar into a DFA. Sorry for the mistake in the heading, it should be a DFA, left linear grammar to DFA. Okay. Now we are going to look at a process which will take a left linear grammar G as input and will produce an epsilon NFA AG as output. If you have an epsilon NFA, you already know a process or a procedure which will take NFA as input and produce a DFA as output. So that part is clear. Now see what we can do. Given a left linear grammar G, what you do first is obtain a right linear grammar G prime from G. We have seen in this lecture, just reverse the RHS of every production, you will get G prime, and we saw that the language represented by the obtained right linear grammar is the reverse of the language represented by G. Okay, now you have G prime with you. With G prime, what you do? Obtain an epsilon NFA from G prime. Okay, from the grammar, how will you obtain an NFA? That is what we discussed in the previous lecture. So we saw in that lecture that given a grammar G, one can automatically generate an NFA such that the languages are same. Okay, now you got an epsilon NFA. Assume that you are having a single state, single initial state, single final state, epsilon n of a, g prime. From that, what you do? You reverse that n of a. In the previous slide, we saw how to reverse an n of a. And we know that if you reverse, then the language represented by the reverse n of a is nothing but the reverse of the language represented by the given n of a. Now, what is the language of the reverse n of a? It is nothing but this one. It is the reverse of the language represented by this n of a. And what is the language represented by that n of a? Is L of g prime from this. And what is L of g prime? L of g reverse is L of g prime. Now you can easily see that you are reversing twice this language, so you will get back L of g as the outcome. So observe that we obtained an epsilon n of a accepting the same language as that of a given left linear grammar. And thus we have a process or a procedure which takes a left linear grammar as input and produce an epsilon n of a as output. Now you apply a procedure for converting that epsilon n of a into a d of a, and thus we can conclude that an arbitrary left linear grammar can be represented by a d of a, and thus we can conclude that left linear grammars generate regular languages. With this, we are finishing this lecture, and I am giving you two practice problems for you to practice and understand what we discussed today. So we have seen a procedure for converting an arbitrary n of a into a right linear grammar, and also we have seen how one can automatically convert a left linear grammar into a d of a, and thus we can conclude that from any d of a we can obtain a regular grammar, and from any regular grammar we can obtain a d of a, and hence DFAs and regular grammars are equivalent in power for recognizing languages. Thank you.